Hey, what's up, y'all? Good morning. Welcome to a Friday. Excuse me, my microphone. One sec. Here we go. Welcome to a Friday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Boudreaux. Glad to have y'all here as always. For those who are going to wonder, probably already wondering, Drew not yet awake. So here's hoping we can make it through an episode without him coming in here and getting a little fuzzy. But then again, if I hear him, just full disclosure. If I hear him, I'm going to have to run in there and go get him out of his bed. Steven, good morning. Nick, good morning. Danny, Mike, James, Carl, Craig, good morning. Happy Friday to all of y'all. If y'all want to start firing away with questions, two things that I have so far to talk about. So we'll get to anything else that you might want to discuss here in a bit. But I want to talk about Brice Turang, who signed his contract with the Brewers, the LSU baseball commit, who is going to go play pro ball, and then also Donte Starks, linebacker out of John Ehret, who committed to LSU last night via Twitter video. Let me start with Turang, and then we'll move on through that. Stephen, Bobby, good morning. Good. I'm glad that everybody, like, you're starting your own little community. Everyone in the comment section there, they're all saying hello to everybody. Yeah, we're a few minutes earlier today than normal. Usually it's around 7:20ish, but like I said, Drew was sleeping, so I figured, what the heck, let's just go ahead and get rolling. I think we're a little lopsided there. See if we maybe straighten that up for you a bit. Okay, so Brice Turang signed. This wasn't a great surprise. Matter of fact, yesterday I started making some phone calls when it was like, hey, this is getting down to the nitty gritty. Like, is this actually going to happen? And I was tipped off yesterday that he had already signed. So, and that was yesterday morning, shortly after I recorded this, we did the show. So, I don't know why the Brewers waited to, I don't know why the Brewers waited to release it. Craig said it's the nice huddle crowd. For those that don't know, on our radio station we have an app, and in the app you can post sort of a message board of sorts, and it's we call it the huddle. And you tend to get a lot of anonymous people in the huddle who just create a cesspool. So I enjoy trolling those people from time to time. Anyway, but Craig said, so this is the nice huddle crowd. So anyway, Corey, good morning. Barry, good morning to you as well. James said, what's the number that the Brewers agreed on? Excuse me. Like I said, I'm just waking up, and my first words of the day. The huddle's for losers. I'm actually just enjoying reading those comments now. The number I heard was actually a little north of 3.4 million. So I'm not sure how they cobbled together that money, but yeah. So I'm sure we'll get an exact number sooner than later. But either way, man, when you're 18, like this, it is the very, very rare exception to the rule when a kid coming out of high school is going to pass on 3 million plus first round draft picks. And if you listen to AFR yesterday, right at the end of the show, Hunt Palmer was in for Hester, and Hunt made the point. He's right. Like we've pointed out before, some guys that have been first round picks that have not signed. You can go look at Mark Appel. You could look at this pitcher for the Cubs. Karsten Whitson of Florida would be like the rare exception, but most of those guys, Brady Aiken, that's what I'm thinking of, Astros, those guys that are first round or high first round picks that don't sign, typically it's because they're drafted, then they fail a physical, and the team's like, we're not going to give you all this money when we know you're cruising toward surgery. The rare exception is Karsten Whitson, the kid who was the 9th overall pick of San Diego and decided to go to Florida anyway and pass on top 10 money. That just doesn't happen. And of course, he went to Florida and wrecked his arm, had surgery, and then wound up being drafted way later in the draft. So, point is, man, it was a long shot ever to begin that Turang was going to show up. The longer it goes, though, the more you kind of cross your fingers. And I was listening for Drew. Sorry. Thought I heard him. Anyway, so it was really fun to think of the possibility Realistically, I don't think it was ever a super duper real possibility for Turang, but the longer it went, the more of a possibility something could go awry with them and he could show up on campus. But anyway, so Turang signs with the Brewers. He won't be at LSU. Bummer. Chase says, is this the comment section consider the slimy underbelly? Are we cool? Yeah, we're cool. I think, you know what I found, seriously, though? I'll talk about Starks here in just a second. Keith, good morning. Justin Dupuy, good morning. Justin Robinson, good morning. Christian Frugier, good morning. Good to see you, dude. Because I spend so much time on all the different social platforms, like, it's funny to me how everyone on the different social platforms interact. Like, Twitter comments can tend to be like sort of overtly negative. Yesterday on AFR talked about like there's so much positivity that happens on social networks. So I'm not one that like extols the ills of social media. I think it's fantastic the way people connect. I mean, think about like families and grandparents that live in different parts of the country that can keep up with their grandkids and see pictures and videos. Like I think social media is like people that my dad has friends he went to elementary school in the 50s with that he had never seen, and they connect on Facebook, and it's amazing, right? I mean, social media is a remarkable thing. And then you have like Fournette and Geis helping that girl. If you saw that story, pay her tuition. Geis raised $21,000 for Mary Bird Perkins because of social media. J.J. Watt raised $37 million for hurricane relief on social media. So like, I think it's fantastic. But Twitter tends to be just like the comments can tend to be a little more toxic. Facebook is just a more pleasant place to be. Generally speaking. People like pictures more, they comment, they're just more complimentary. Like Facebook just tends to be more docile, quite honestly. I'd say the same about Instagram too. Just an observation. Let's see. Michael Moscow, you talking about my pops? I know, right, dude? He's 60. Pops is 66 or 67. Yeah, man. Let's see, he was born in 53. So he was born in 53, December of 53. So he's 64, he'll be 65. He'll be 65 in December. Yeah, he is old, dude. Hey, Lori, good morning. Justin said it's not anonymous. That's true. That's part of it, yeah. Anonymity, for the most part, is gone. All right, so real quick, let me get to this. We'll get to... I'd love to get to your questions and comments, stuff like that here in just a quick second. Hal, good morning. Travis, good morning. Nate Green, GM, Matt, not exactly. But LSU got a commit from Donte Starks, linebacker out of John Ehret. Mike Detillier yesterday on AFR compared him physically to Debo Jones, which is a really phenomenal comparison. Starks is, according to the 247 Sports Composite, Starks is the 6th best player in Louisiana. 6'1", 225 out of Ehret and Marrero. So obviously there's a lot of reasons this is significant. Consensus 4-star, a top 50 player nationally, the number 6 player in Louisiana, linebacker where Aranda coaches, the inside backers. Always a position of need, especially when you consider you're losing Devin White after this year to the draft. And then you signed that trio of guys last year, and then you got Micah Baskerville coming behind him. And so it's like you're keeping that pipeline coming at inside linebacker, especially because that had thinned out so much. I know we've mentioned before, and you've heard this, but there was a few years back when LSU had more place kickers on the roster than linebackers. Like that's when they needed Devin White to become Devin White, quite honestly, than when he moved from running back, because it was his quickest path to the field, and they just desperately needed it. So, of course, position of need, you've fended off many big-time schools in the country. But what I'll go back to is the more this class is building, the more it's starting to look and feel like 2001, when you had all the in-state guys stay home, when you had Michael Clayton and Marcus Spears and Marquise Hill and all those top prospects in the country that were all from Louisiana and all got together and said, hey, let's just stay here and do something special here. And of course, a few years later, they win a national championship as juniors in 2003. And then you look at that 2011 class, they called themselves the Fam, where you had all these national guys, where you had Lyle Collins, and you had Anthony Johnson, and you had Odell Beckham, and you had Jarvis Landry, and all these big-time national recruits, Jeremy Hill, Kenny Hilliard. You had all these big-time national recruits that were all from Louisiana and got together and said, hey, let's all stay home and go to LSU and do something really special. And well, now you're kind of starting to see that again with this class. Like Stingley has stayed home. Cardell Thomas said, let's stay home. Now you got Donte Starks in the boat. You got Tyron Davis, the running back, who's committed, although George is pursuing him pretty hard. So you look around and you go, Thomas Perry, the offensive tackle out of Turlings. You look at the guys committed. Joseph Evans, the tackle out of Haynesville. You can look and say, man, some of the best guys in the state are all committed right now. And you still got a few big fish out there, like Ish Sofser's the number 1 player in the state, like number 3 player in the country. You got John Emery, the running back from Destrehan. You got Devontae Lee, the receiver from Maine Mead. You got Christian Harris from U High. I mean, you should look around and you start going, okay, man, like if you end up getting all of these guys to stay home, you're putting together what could well be like the number 1 class in the country if you get all of them. So you can see, man, I'm not going to tinkle in your cheers. I don't think it matters. All of this doesn't matter at all for this season, which I still think is going to be a really bumpy ride for LSU. I think getting Joe Burrow probably eliminates the possibility of like the complete and utter disaster type season, where things just completely fall apart on you. But you're still young. Ensminger mentioned. I saw an article by Mike Scarborough yesterday where Ensminger mentioned, "Hey, we're still really young, and you just keep asking like for patience and and all this stuff from your fans." And it's evident like that they feel like they're preparing themselves for something. That doesn't mean the expectation goes away, but it's valid. So I guess my point is like, I think the need for patience is Ed Ogeron's own creation, because he swung and missed on Matt Canada. He failed to develop any of those quarterbacks last year. There's when he had an opportunity, like. There's a lot of things going to missed on a running, major national running back the last 2 classes. Point is, like, there's a reason why things are where they are, and it's not that Les left a roster with a whole bunch of holes in it. But now that Ed has kind of gotten his footing, it appears as he's building, he's got the offensive coordinator he wants. They've got Aranda locked up, and you hope he stays. And now, like, he's got a vision, and he's building in this recruiting class. You can start to see, like, okay, like maybe the boat wobbles a little this year, but once you steady it, man, there's a lot of smooth water ahead. And I don't know if it means that they're going to be able to compete with Saban and Kirby Smart and all those guys, but like you put together this kind of class, and this is one of those classes. This is one of those that like Saban got at LSU to win the 03 title, that Les got at LSU that got them into the championship game in 2011 when that crop were freshmen. But man, it's there's a lot of reasons to like what this class is looking like right now. All right, let's see if we get some of y'all's questions. Brandon Bro, good morning. Ryan Broussard, Christopher Merrill, good morning. Russell Appold, what's up? Good to see you. Trivia, good morning to you as well. If y'all haven't yet, please hit the share button. That helps me a ton. Jamie Levine, good morning. Chase, good to see another highly ranked guy commit. Notice last week we're number 3 class. Have more commits on the top ranked teams. Our ranking per player was in the 20s. Let's hope Coach O closes. Yeah, no doubt, Chase. Like if they get Ish Sofser, they get John Emery, 2 of the remaining uncommitted top 5 guys in the state, then all of a sudden you're looking at quite possibly the number 1 class in the country. Like that's a real possibility. And they're talking about flipping Tua's brother. At least Cardell Thomas was talking about that. I don't know if that's a realistic possibility, but you do that, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, you've got all the ancillary. You get the best offensive lineman, you got defensive lineman, you got the best linebacker, you got a great running back. Get you a quarterback in the boat, and you're like, oh, all right, it's go time. Rusty Gomez, Ben Clark, good morning, happy Friday to y'all. Craig, you can feel the momentum turn back to great signing classes. You hope so, because last year was not. And you wonder if like it's this year because there's a bumper crop in the state, So what happens in those years when you don't have the bumper crop in the state. Can you cast a wide net and still get big time national guys? Like that's a different challenge, but this is an awesome foundation for sure. Let's see. Stephen Miller, of the commits, Matt, percent of players we sign. So understand, it's a good question, Stephen. The feeling that sorry, I was listening for Drew. Essentially, I was told like they probably think they're going to lose one. I don't know who, but I couldn't get a name. But because the signing class is now December, guys that are committed, it's just like, I mean, unless if you have like a signing day flip that's unexpected, chances are like everybody who's commits now is in. Let's see, Carl, classes are good. Results on the field will be effective this season in 2019. Again, like I don't think the 18 season is going to go great for LSU. Like y'all have asked me before, if you made me pick today, I'd pick them 7-5. Like I don't think this is going to be a great season for LSU on the field. Inexperience plus that schedule, you know, if they played Kentucky instead of Georgia, if they didn't have that neutral site game against Miami, or if Miami wasn't a top 10 team, if you didn't have to go to Auburn and then you didn't have to go to A&M in the last game of the season where I think Jimbo's better, if you have to go to Florida, who I think should be better this year, my outlook would be different. But it's just one of those years. Like if it was the 08 schedule, probably a different outlook, you know. But it's not. Alvin, morning, Matt, where's Drew? Drew's still in the bed, but I hear him. I might have to go wake him up. Brian says, what's the deal with Jacoby Stevens? Wasn't he a 5-star? He was. Got to campus. And sometimes coaches play favorites, but got to campus. I can tell you they fell in love with Grant Delpit, who obviously played a ton, and they fell in love with Todd Harris from Plaquemine. And I mean, I was told all through fall camp last year that they were just so pleasantly surprised by Todd Harris that he was going to play a ton. And I think with a guy like Stevens, because he's so athletically gifted, and that safety last year, they had depth. They were looking for a spot to put him, so they put him on offense. And he wasn't getting into the mix offensively, so it's like, all right, we'll go back to safety, and then he just lost that time. So, provided he sticks around, I think he'll get on the field, but he's just behind better players right now. And it does go to show you at times like the flaw in the recruiting rankings, because Stevens was a 5-star, but the guy who got him in the boat was Austin Thomas, and Austin obviously left and wasn't Dave's guy, and they liked Delpit and Todd Harris just better. It's not to say Stevens isn't a good player and a great athlete. May well get a shot, but there's lots of guys who are great athletes who, when they get on the field, just don't get. I mean, Ed Paris to me is the greatest example. I mean, Ed Paris, I've seen him work at traction. I mean, Ed is. He'd be a combine warrior. The way he runs, jumps, his agility, like he would crush all of that. But when he gets on the field, he just hadn't been able to produce. Derek, Jeremy, Kevin, good morning. Wilmer Davis, kid out of Starkville, probably flips. Val Brown, Val, good morning. Good to see you. Hey, Aunt Nancy, good morning. It's my godmother, y'all. Nancy Mumford. Kevin Harrell, 7-5, gets fired. 100% false. Ed Ogeron's not getting fired this year, Kevin. Mark my words. You at a place like LSU, you do not fire a coach after 2 seasons, and you're not firing a coach after going 7-5. The only way it even gets considered is if it was like a 3-9 type season, maybe, but he's not getting fired, and he shouldn't be. You hired him, give that man his chance to build his program. You're not firing him after 7-5. Clay, good morning. Now they go 7-5 this year, and then 7-5 next year, or 6-6 next year. Probably, but no, he's not getting fired this year. Randy Quinn, good morning. Travis, since day one with O, been a laughingstock to the rest of the SEC as far as coaches and administration. Let's see, I scrolled up, sorry. We knew O could get the players. Do you believe in his leadership to bring us back to the top? I mean, Travis, if you're asking me, you know my answer. I mean, I was the most outspoken against the hire. I hated the hire. I still think it's a terrible hire. Doesn't mean I don't want the guy to win. I mean, everything in Baton Rouge is better when LSU football wins. I mean, and plus, I love LSU. I graduated from there. I always wanted to win. But, I get paid to be candid and give opinions. And my opinion is it was a bad hire, and There's nothing I've seen that leads me to believe that it's going to be different. But man, hell, I've never hoped to be more dead wrong about something in my life because I don't want LSU football to be bad. It's bad for business. And just personally, All right, Randy Quinn, good morning. Good to see y'all. Listening for Drew. If you're just joining us, Drew's still sleeping. He hasn't been in, so I'm listening. He's in the bedroom, so if I hear him, I'm going to have to go scoot and grab him. Craig. Oh, Craig talking about the D1 baseball freshman All-America team. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday actually on AFR. Cabrera and Mikhail Hilliard were both selected. Cabrera's first team, Hilliard was a second team. Michael Scone, hashtag beat A&M. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, man. On the road last week of the season. Wait, I hear Drew. Y'all sit tight. If y'all would sit tight, I'll go get him. Morning. We're going to go say hi to all your friends. Let's go say hi to your Facebook people.
Papa.
Big block. All right, let's say hi to everybody this morning. Thank you for being sweet this morning. You were not sweet yesterday morning. Whenever everybody was trying to say hi to you. Can you say hi? Oh, outside? We saying outside? Mom, I love you. Hi. You slept so good last night. Thank you for being a good sleeper.
Appa.
Uppo? Hey, guess where you're going to go today? You're going to go see Miss Gayla, and then...
Appa.
No, who are you going to see after Miss Gayla?
Mom.
Mama, yeah.
Appa.
Okay.
Appa.
Poetry?
Appa.
Poetry?
Appa.
All right.
Appa. Appa.
It sounds like you're saying poetry, buddy. Airport? Elevator. So, that was the airport. I'm sorry. I love you. Wait, hang on. We'll put on your backpack. Hold on. And then we can finish talking to everybody. Hold on. Let me put on your backpack. Truck. Hang on. Just put on your backpack. Oh, you can see. Look, that's where Daddy sits. But you can't see it right now. Hold on. I bet Mickey Mouse is on in the other room. If you want to go see him. Okay. Hey, look. Here comes Daddy. You see? Hi. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. Little detour. Had to go. Y'all are so patient to sit through. Outside. Okay. Yancey, good morning. Let's see. What were we talking about? About LSU, the future of the football program. Chase said no record could get fired this year. No plausible record. I mean, they have the complete implosion. I tell you what, they go Auburn from 2012. They got Chiswick fired 2 years after winning the national title, where they went 3-9, 0-8 in the SEC. Like, that could do it. You go 0-8 like that could do it. But that's really probably not likely. Christopher Merrill talked about Patrick Queen getting meaningful reps behind Devin White. They love Patrick Queen. And the guy last year who emerged as the backup was Tyler Taylor, that they really liked. And I tell you, in this offseason, they feel like Queen made a run. So, I mean, that whole Tyler, Taylor, Jacob Phillips, Patrick Queen, that trio, I think all are going to be really, really good. But Queen, out of Livonia, he made some movement this offseason. Like, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't a significant player behind, at those inside backer spots. Let's see if we can get to a couple more. Travis McGraw, agreed. Candid is appreciated. Sure, man. Look, honestly, Travis, I think it's why the show has done as well as it has, because people know that when you listen, like, you may not like me or my style or agree with me, But you know I'm never going to bullshit you. Excuse the language. Like, you just know I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, it's what my opinion is what it is, and I'm not fabricating something to get a rise out of anybody. It's just what it is. Mama. Truck. Soph? Hey, you're going to go to see Miss Gayla today, and then... Mama, yeah. You're going to out and go outside. Yes, you are. And then you go outside. Okay, well, we'll see you later. Drew just skedaddle out here. All right, let's see. Maybe get to a few more... a few more, and then we'll get out of here. Stephen Miller says, I'm sticking to thought. Our defense will seal victory where they aren't supposed to win. I agree. But in that same vein, they probably also lose one that they're not supposed to lose. Just the nature of how it goes. Big block. That's like, for me, I'll tell you the way I've thought about this season. Miami, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Bama. Those 5. I think they win one of those 5, and everyone gets excited because it would be a really nice win. The flip side of it is Mississippi State, Arkansas, Texas A&M. I think they lose one of those, and that's going to be real disappointing. So I think that's how they get to 7-5. And then you go into 19, opening that season against Texas and Austin, and you feel like, okay, that'll be year 3 of Ed, year 3 of Tom Herman. You're on the road. I think Texas will probably be a top 15, top 10 type team preseason. So LSU should be as well, by the way. And then you're kind of like, okay, well, let's see. Let's see where you are. You know what I mean? So that's the game I would circle. Chase, agree 100%. One of the worst Power 5 head coaching hires of my lifetime. Hope I'm 100% wrong. I mean, that's where I am. But that's okay. Like, that's fine. I mean, Yancey said you're a cutie. Or maybe he was talking about me. Probably not. Probably you. Outside. Probably you, sweetheart. I know Yancey, so he said he wasn't walking or eating solid foods not long ago. Yeah, he started walking just after his birthday last year, which was, he's born July 18th. So, so he started walking just about a year ago, and he's cruising now. And we're working on, he'll eat those little pureed pouches. So he still, that backpack is his feeding tube. So he still gets his nutrition from his feeding tube, from the formula, because he just doesn't eat enough for it to sustain him. So they're working on getting him to eat more, and then eat more solid foods and different textures and stuff. So he goes to therapy every day for stuff like that. Jamie, nothing better than morning time with your kid when they're just out of bed. Except when you're trying to do a Facebook show and they keep crying sometimes, and when they have a dirty diaper, which he does right now. All right, Brandon, good morning. All right, we're probably about to wrap this up. See if we get to any more of these questions real quick before we wrap up. Christopher Davis, good morning. Danny said, if we lose to Miami, things could get bad. Game's pivotal to a good season. Danny, the game that I'd circle is Mississippi State, because it's at home. They beat you by 30 last year. Mississippi State is probably going to be favored in that game in Baton Rouge. But where you look at it, how it goes sequentially, where they've got Florida, Mississippi State, Georgia, an open date, or Georgia, Mississippi State, open date, Bama. You're talking about, like, if you lose at Florida, which is plausible, if you lose to Georgia, which is plausible, if you lose to Mississippi State, have an open date, and then you lose to Bama, you're going to go 6 weeks. And then, by the way, you're at Arkansas. You're going to go at least 6 weeks without winning a football game. Like, that would feel like an eternity. You got to win Mississippi State, because I don't think you're beating Florida. On the road, I don't think you're beating Georgia. You can beat State, go into your bye, and then maybe even if you lose to Bama, beat Arkansas the next week. So you're having some ebbs and flows, but it's not just 6 weeks of this. You know what I mean? So, Alvino Frazier, LSU makes the playoff if blank. If 126 teams in college football decide not to play this year. That's about it, dude. They're not making the playoff this year. Check with me in 2021. I think when this class of 2019, the signing class of 2019, those juniors, I think they got a shot. Outside. Blake McGraw, top 3 finish for this 19 class should be, especially if they get his saucer. Yeah. If they get Saucer and Emery, I think so. Hey, Jeff Brenner, good morning. Kathy, good morning. Steven, good morning. Brent said, what's up, Matt and Drew? All right, let's see. Scone, man, out of curiosity, buddies and I talking the other day, what's your average daily number of listeners for AFR? That's something you, like, we don't know if it's 1,000 or 10,000. It's way more than 1,000. I'd venture a guess it's more than 10,000 too. Yeah. We've done well. Hey, baby. You got to understand, Chase, also, you've got ESPN Baton Rouge. You got ESPN New Orleans. We've got our live stream app. And then CST is, a total game changer because it puts us on in 18 states, massive footprint. CST reaches 5 million homes. It's not to say that 5 million people around the country are watching the show, but so many more people, even across the state of Louisiana, that maybe couldn't listen to us on terrestrial radio, who have found us now. Hey. Yeah. Okay, listen. How about we wrap up the show, and then we go in there and we watch Mickey Mouse. Mama? Mama's sleeping, buddy. Mama stayed up late last night. Outside. Big block. Okay, well, we'll see you later then. You go over there. Here you go. All right. Let's see. Let's wrap this up, y'all. Y'all having a good time this morning. Happy Friday. Y'all do us a solid. Check out Boudreaux's if you've not yet. Boudreaux's, the Bloody Mary mix, the Margarita mix. Awesome local product. If you're going to be having a brunch this weekend, check out the Bloody Mary mix. Of course, if you'll be out by the pool or whatever the case may be, the Margarita mix is awesome. I've told you before, just candidly, I don't do Bloody Marys, but I've had so many people that have tried it. They said, man, it's fantastic. The cool thing about it is you don't have to empty out your pantry to use it. It's just like, it's got all of those spices and everything in it. You shake it, you can see like I don't know if you can see all the sort of the debris in there. So it's one of those things where you don't have to empty out your entire pantry to make a Bloody Mary. It's just pour that, add your vodka, stir, and you're golden. Same with the Margarita mix, man. That I have tried and I love, because one of the things that I don't like is things that are too tart. So I really like that. This is it. I've told you this before. Like, tart things make my head sweat. That's a bad look. Like, when I say sweat, I mean like you could take your bare hand, put it on top of my head, and you'd be like, "Did you just jump out of a pool?" Like some lemonade will do that to me. Things that are tart and sweet. So, but this is fantastic. So, hope you enjoy it. Give it a try. Alexander's, Calvin's, Calandro's, Mid City Wine and Craft. That all in Baton Rouge, and Homa. They've got it at Canada's. And if they don't have it where you shop, then demand that they do, please. And check them out on all their social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you're watching this on Facebook right now, that's for the benefit of those watching on YouTube later. Just click the Boudreaux's Mixes and Spices link right there. Like their page. That'd be a huge help. So if you could share this video as well, that'd be huge. All right, AFR today at 3. Terrio's in studio. We'll probably just fart around and be stupid for 3 hours, or with the 2 hours that he's in studio, which is a lot of fun. Michael, hey, Cuz says he needs to find it NOLA. We need to get it into Rouse's. So need to get this into all the Rouse's, so it'll be all across the southern part of the state, part of the region. So that's the hope. Ooh, I just spilled my coffee on my computer. That sucks. So let me go clean that up. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you today for AFR and tomorrow for Morning Scone.